If you have ever seen Dark Souls or like any Dark Souls LP, just skip to the middle of the fucking video and skip everything that's here. It's boring. There's nothing new. Just move on. Also, hello, this is Dark Souls 2. I'm Control Volume.
I'm Infesto.
And I'm Red Eye Flight.
And this is actually the new version of Dark Souls 2.
There is no new information.
Yeah. That's actually new. It used to go and pop up with the information every single time it came up. Just like, oh, this is the patch info. We went and did calibrations.
So it is new information.
Well, it was then. It's not new anymore.
Well, apparently there's a lot of new stuff in this patch, right?
Yeah. I'm sort of, it's not really playing blind, but I actually haven't played through Scholar of the First Sin yet, so all the new enemy placements are going to be new to me.
Okay, so it's like a semi-blind run. You know the game in theory, but like the important parts, like where the ambushes are and who's what where, is kind of new.
Yeah, and I mean, I know the geography of the game pretty well too, so a lot of ambushes.
I've watched about 1/6 of a playthrough, so I will be the blind runner here.
Cool. Well, you probably know the story. Basically, you're an undead dude. There's this old lady who goes and talks to you. You go insane or you forget everything. I really don't care.
The deep lore that we don't care anything about.
Yeah, there's people who go and analyze this shit all day, and it's a hard game. That's why I go and play this thing. And then there's like some Emerald Herald who goes and says bear seek lest at you all the time.
Something other than human.
Yeah, I skip her dialogue every single time I go and play this game, including this run through. I'm gonna skip it all. Just if that pisses you off, fuck you.
I was gonna say a goon.
Long ago, in a walled.
Well, the thing is, Dark Souls 2 lore just kind of isn't really there as much as it was in Dark Souls 1, so, a lot of Dark Souls 2 is just, you're a dead dude, and now go kill everything you see.
Yeah, so it might not even be the planet you're on. You just sort of get transported to some place, and it's like, hey, go sit on a rock.
But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
And then there's also a bunch of old women who just laugh at you for no real reason.
That's sort of a fantasy staple. You always need the old woman to mock you.
Yeah, although they did lie. You'll see them go and mock me for losing my souls over and over again. Nah, I am awesome at this game. I am the best.
So that's the appeal of this run. We're not paying attention to the story, but at least we can have some good quality gameplay.
Yeah, or at least not completely shit. I haven't died yet. That's something.
Yeah, because you're in a cutscene. I mean, if there's a game that will kill you in a cutscene, it's Dark Souls, but
Exactly. This is hard fucking shit going and waiting through this. Like, my finger was just hovering over the escape key just this entire thing. Just none of what you just saw has any relevance to the plot, except for like some maybe vague connection between the old lady that you saw and the Emerald Herald. I mean, even that's just stupid theory crafting.
Well, it's pretty looking cinematic, at least.
Yeah, but you jump in a hole and then what? It's just none of it matters. Who cares?
Well, you get to feel badass for having jumped in a hole. And it is a pretty badass looking hole.
It is a pretty badass looking hole, I will agree.
I think Dark Souls 2 is what happens when Odysseus chooses to brave the whirlpool instead of the monster on the cliffs. This is alternate timeline fanfiction for the Odyssey.
I see.
This is what really happens when you get sucked into Charybdis. That's what it's called, right? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm not up to date with all my Greek mythology.
It's Greek mythology. It hasn't been updated in literal millennia. Come on!
Well, neither has my knowledge of Greek mythology, so shut up.
Charybdis. Oh, hey, look at that shield. We ever gonna see that?
Maybe. I don't know.
You might.
Yeah, I think that was the Drakekeeper shield or something. I really don't remember where that thing comes from. All I know is that it's kind of crap.
Yeah, it's the stamina regen shield, the analog to the grass crest shield. You find it super late, and it's not great. I guess it's okay if you use a two-hand build, just so you have a little perk to having a shield around, but otherwise, yeah, it's kind of crappy.
Yeah,
And those textures look a lot better from farther away.
they do. So yeah, at the start of the game, you just have two people standing around doing whatever.
Right, I know that's the ghost system.
Yeah. And just, if you ignore the disclaimer and you're actually watching all this shit, most of this tutorial section is exactly the same. Those things will go and kill you.
What, the rabbits?
They're more like monkey things. You see them later once. They're good for farming items off of.
Oh, I didn't know they dropped items.
Ah, so it's a memorial thing.
Yeah, I don't think the ones here drop items, but the one I think they're in Aldia's Keep, they actually drop some really good stuff.
Alright, let's go house invading.
Yep.
Straight up Legend of Zelda.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face.
Wow, they're rude.
They are. They're jerks.
It's an undead.
I'm right here.
Has come to play.
It's not every day you meet a group of strangers who will greet you by insulting your face and then continue to talk smack about you when you're like 5 feet in front of them.
Yeah. Look at that guy. He looks like a fucking zombie.
You're finished.
I think the great part is, like, out of the 4 characters in this little house, 2 of them don't actually do anything except sit there and laugh at you. That's their only function in the game.
So they are the Statler and Waldorf of the game.
Yeah, actually. Now that you,
That's a good comparison, yeah.
Can we just call them Statler and Waldorf? I think they have real names, but that should be their names from now on.
Statler and Waldorfina.
What is your name?
Alright, I hope you picked a good name here.
Weed Lord Boner Hitler.
His name is Herbert Munn. Just the most boring name I could possibly think of.
That's a pretty boring name.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's like mundane to the point where it's almost kind of interesting just due to how plain it is.
Here's your reward for sharing.
I really feel bad for anyone who actually is called Herbert or just Herb or whatever. You know they're all over 60.
Yeah. Or maybe like about to hit 50, like they're part of that generation where like the previous generation didn't catch up on new naming trends.
It's a creepy doll.
It's a tree of some sort.
Yes, it's an effigy of you.
I don't think that looks a whole lot like us. It's a
Why do you
little
have
bulbous.
I don't know, it makes you turn from green to pink.
Ah, high speed.
Yeah, oh yeah, I spent like 10 minutes doing this shit. I'm not gonna go and make you guys
I
suffer
commented
through
about
it.
this before we started recording, but that mustache is amazing.
It is. So I figured if his name is gonna be Herbert Munn, we need like a really suitably Herbert Money face.
I am getting very strong Herbert vibes from this man.
This is a man who looks like he would wear a cap and direct British soldiers to die in trench fire.
Possibly.
Yeah, he really does look like a 19th century British officer, doesn't he? It would be great if you could equip him with a saber in one hand and a gun in the other.
Well, you have to play Bloodborne for that.
Yeah, I bring that up.
The
I
other,
was literally playing Bloodborne when Control Volume called me. I was like, hey man, we got a comments. I'm like, oh, fuck you, man. Doing something that's actually fun right now. Interrupt me.
Hey,
Are you
Dark
kidding?
Souls...
I love this kind of thing.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2 is fun.
For a certain value of fun.
Just because it's made by the B team doesn't make it any less good of a game.
Well, I was more referring to how it's so hard it will kill you. Like, in real life.
What, Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne?
Any Souls game.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see them trying to make that a feature.
If you die in the game, you hollow in real life.
I think I was hollow well before I started playing these games.
God damn it, you beat me to the joke.
Break the curse.
I was just empty on the inside the whole time.
I should think.
played RuneScape as a kid. It doesn't change me at all.
Doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah,
Does
it's-
RuneScape still exist? I remember seeing advertisements for that when I was like 8 years old. That was a
Oh,
long
it's
fucking time
still
ago.
going. Well, I wouldn't say it's going strong, but it's still adding new stuff.
I know people who actually play RuneScape.
I
Like,
played it last year.
That's terrible. Why would you do that?
Because sometimes you just want to sit around and make numbers get bigger for a while.
But remember,
You know,
Yeah, look-
sometimes I just want to go outside and start punching myself in the dick, but I don't do that because it hurts.
oh wow, fool you.
Yeah, I've got friends who still play EverQuest 1, and I think they still add new content to that fucking game.
I'm not
shit.
that insane, okay? RuneScape is at least improved. For a very small value of improved.
That's kind of a very low bar to meet.
Well, look, I'm not going to defend it any more than I already have. It's just a time sink. Such similar to this.
Yeah, but this is actually fun and alright, oh yeah, we're actually in the game now. We
Well,
can
like
actually
I s-
start we can actually start talking about it for once.
Well, like I said, this is fun in the sense that if you like getting punched in the balls, then you'll find it fun.
Maybe if you're bad at it. Unlike myself.
Oh, but you said this was going to be a perfect run.
I never
High
said
quality
that.
gameplay.
I just said that I wasn't gonna suck.
Hmm.
For
I
certain
can
definitions
I
of
can just
suck.
see the thread title for this game now. For this LP, it's just gonna be Control Volume talks about how baller he is for 30 hours.
So we're going to fight this thing. I've seen this thing.
Yeah, this thing's pretty easy if you know what you're doing. I mean, this particular one, actually. There's one... This one is easy! Yeah. No, well,
He
actually,
says-
once you get behind it, it just starts doing this sitting attack. This does this repeatedly forever.
It just continually backs that ass up and doesn't realize that it's been, about 20 years since that song was popular.
Well,
All
it's
those-
a big troll thing living out in the woods.
All those
It's
fat
not
jokes
exactly
in college
how it
really
sounds.
sort of got to it.
I really
The sad
thought you
thing
were
is-
just going to get crushed against the wall there.
Nah, I only get hit those 2 times. And that's just... That 3-hit combo, for some reason, that is really hard to dodge if you're not dodging to the side of it. But I've never figured out the timing. I've beaten this game God knows how many times, and I just sort of run away as soon as I can once I see that attack.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact you're at the very beginning of the game, and I'm sure your ADP is at 85, which is the lowest it can possibly be.
Yeah, but even when it's high, I think I had it at
What's-
105, and it's still
let's
hard.
let's slow it down here for the idiots in the audience. What's ADP?
It's the dodging thing.
Okay.
ADP governs 2 different things. One of them is how many invincibility frames your dodge roll has, and the other is how many frames it takes for you to drink your Estus. So
Yeah.
higher adaptability is pretty much necessary for everyone except for speedrunners, who are basically meth heads who practice a single video game until they perfected it.
At
Yeah,
which
that-
point they fall over on the ground and shrivel up because their purpose in life has been fulfilled.
Yeah, until the next patch anyway.
Yeah. They go into hibernation, cryostasis,
It's
until
like, you
the
know,
next
the,
patch comes out.
you know perennial flowers, how they'll just bloom up every year? It's like that, only instead of seasons, it's gameplay patches. They'll just rise from the ground.
So that was a backstab, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they
Making
happen
sure.
every now and then. There's also parries in this game. Chances are you'll never see them because I'm just absolute shit at them.
They
can't-
did make parries a lot harder in Dark Souls 2, and most of the time it's just not really worth the risk, especially with how easy it is to get backstabs in this game. Like,
Yeah.
the baby way of playing Dark Souls games is kind of just like lock onto an enemy, circle strafe them until they miss an attack, and then backstab. And you're mostly invincible during backstab animation, so it's very easy to take care of a lot of fights like that.
Plus, these
Yeah.
guys are going down in 2 of the 3 hits anyway.
Yeah, that's most trash enemies in the game. I mean, there's gonna be... I think it's just the undead... No, not Forest of the Giants. Undead Berg, whatever. They're both pretty much the same damn thing. But They'll take 3 hits to kill, and then you'll have some DLC enemies. Oh yeah, these guys are.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be a pair of hamsters or something.
They're like small birds, or that's what I think anyway.
Now, what
We
you
got a
need to
nest.
do is not use that item there.
Yeah. It's small, smooth, and silky stones. I think they're sort of a healing item, but mostly they're just for this shit. Also, this petrified something gave me the most boring item possible. It just gave me an upgrade item.
But
Oh,
those are good.
it's a good item though.
Yeah, but I was kind of hoping for the big ass hammer, so.
Ah.
Or the trident.
So yeah, that's one of the mechanics they put in this game, where there's these items called smooth and silky stones, and you can just drop them, and there's like different tiers of rewards, and that's how you farm some of the upgrade materials. That's actually the only reliable way to farm them that I know of, at least.
No, they actually changed the bell tower now, so they drop chunks and slabs and
Well,
the dragon.
I'm actually talking more about the element stuff like firestone, boltstone, and all that. If you can't find a vendor with them, then you just do a shitload of co-op and trade them in until you get the one you want.
Yeah, but I think Chloanne, when she eventually shows up, and I think the trigger is beating the Iron King or beating the game, I forget, she'll go and give you more than you'll ever
nice.
really need.
I do like that this game has that kind of death from above style attack, just because I always love seeing those in effect.
Well, cherish it, because that's the only fucking time you're gonna see it.
Yeah, it's sad too, because Dark Souls 1 had like special animations for certain bosses if you plunged them, and I think that's entirely absent from this game. Unfortunately. A minor loss, but still one of the more fun ones.
Yeah, I think they left it out in Bloodborne too. Like, you can still do... They give you more opportunities in Bloodborne to do it, but it's still kind of boring. It's still just, you drop down, it does damage, they die.
What the fuck are those?
Oh yeah, this is the one difference in the tutorial area.
Interesting, that's new, yeah.
Those are, basilisks, I want to say.
3 guesses what they...
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's the most appropriate name for them anyways.
Now we get into the part of the game where everyone just leaves graffiti all over the place, because no one has respect for the law.
No, just a bunch of vandals in that.
As the prophets say, fuck the police.
So Modula, for the most part, hasn't changed. All the items are in the same place. Benhart's over in that area, but I don't really care. I don't think he drops anything. Just as another disclaimer, probably up until these first 3 videos end, it's not actually blind. I did a test run just to make sure everything was running right.
So
it
we're
wasn't.
already betraying the gimmick.
Hey, no, there actually are some parts that I haven't done, just not in these 3 videos.
So, out of curiosity, since it was sped up, what class are you playing here, since I've never played Dark Souls 2?
It's Knight. It's the only difference between classes are starting stats and starting weapon. And the Knight's basically the best all around if you're not going to use magic or miracles, which chances are I'm not. I really don't like using them. So it
Cleric
gives...
gets to throw lightning, though.
Yeah, but lightning sucks now.
Oh.
I mean, it's
does
good.
it?
It's good for buffs, but the lightning spear really kind of... They've really nerfed it. Also,
Wonder
yeah,
what the story behind that guy is.
Uh...
I mean, it's like, if you see a guy hanging from a tree, sure. If you see a guy hanging in the bottom of a well, how the hell did that guy get there? What happened to him?
Maybe he just wanted a little more creativity in his suicide method. No? Even when you've given up all hope, you still want to be unique.
You really pissed off the people next to the house. Also,
So
yeah, you saw
Are you going
those...
into hard mode?
No. Why would I do that? That's crazy.
Those guys,
Also,
those guys have advice on that idea.
yeah, those pigs, I was trying to go and show them off being like, hey, yeah, these pigs are still assholes. I'm not going to go and bother them. But apparently I bothered them. These things are... I hate fighting them so much. You can see why. It's like I'm swinging at them, I'm close, it doesn't fucking hit. And
I also observe they're doing a hell of a lot of damage for pigs.
yeah. They actually don't do that much damage, but it adds up when I don't think they get staggered.
Yeah, it's more the fact that there's 3 of them, and they're really difficult to hit with basically all of the starting weapons. Oh, there is one starting weapon that can hit them fairly well. It's the mace, the cleric starting weapon, which is incidentally is like one of the best weapons in the game.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that they're impossible to hit, and they have such high defense. You're just sitting there swinging at them the entire time. You can kind of see how this fight's going. I'm sort of freaking out because I'm afraid that I'm gonna go and just drop down into the pit.
Remember, in every Souls game, the final boss is gravity, and you can never beat it.
Looks like the final boss is these pigs.
These pigs are one of the toughest enemy in the game.
I mean, they're easy enough, like, once you either get magic or you just have a weapon with the right arc to hit them. But yeah, before that, I think, like, if you say, like, play mage and you start with the dagger, you just straight up cannot hit them, period. Just impossible.
Yeah.
But now we have pork for dinner.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the icing on the cake is they don't give you shit for souls.
Yep, they're just a pain in the ass. They're there as a fuck you. Welcome to Dark Souls. You can mostly ignore them. Like, if I really cared, I would have just run back to the bonfire, but I killed them out of spite. I didn't even get close to them. They just followed me.
Well, you had to show the audience, like, this is the authentic Dark Souls 2 experience, because I'm fairly sure when this game came out, like, the first several hundred deaths worldwide were to those fucking
Oh, yeah,
pigs.
those fucking
That or
pigs.
falling down the pit.
I fell down the pit fighting those pigs. That's why I'm kind of afraid of falling down the pit every time I see them now.
Well, I remember back when the game first came out, they had increased the amount of... Like, they decreased the height you could fall before you took damage. So people didn't realize that you couldn't fall safely down the pit, so there was basically just blood dripping down the side of the pit for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Also, this is Salden. He gives you a ring and the Covenant, and I really don't care.
The ring gives you, like, 5% bonus HP, I think?
Yeah, and I'll go and grab it.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
nice
the
for
Emerald
starting
Herald.
out.
She gives
And
you
this is
plot
the
and
very
levels you up.
important person.
The
Yeah,
important part.
She's very important because she gives you the healing item. True story, my first time playing Dark Souls 2, I was heavily sleep deprived. I did not find the Emerald Herald for 2 bosses.
Really?
Yeah. My first run of Dark Souls 2 was incredibly embarrassing.
And
It
you're
sounds more like an incredibly hardcore run.
from what
Especially
I've
since
heard
you couldn't
from
level up either.
yeah, from what I've heard of Infesto's Bloodborne run, I don't think what he does is very hardcore.
My Dark Souls 2 run was hardcore, albeit inadvertently.
So remember what I said about not joining that Covenant? I sort of got second thoughts. I was like, you know, I haven't really joined the Covenant of Champions yet. Like, in any game. It's just been something I avoided just because I like doing co-op sometimes.
Now the real Dark Souls begins.
And I ponder it for a bit, and then leave.
Watch the ghosts run up to the Covenant, die.
Yeah. Then I ponder it for a bit more. It's like, yeah, fuck it.
Albert Munn is the type of man who needs to consider things very carefully before he takes action.
Yeah. As you can see, he didn't celebrate when he killed those pigs. He's much too reserved and dignified for that.
Exactly. We need to get him some dignified threats. This Falconer's armor is looking a little shoddy for a man of his stature.
Oh, I get him some armor, eventually.
So what exactly is the Champion's Covenant?
It basically makes the game harder, in a nutshell. You can't summon anyone in for co-op. Sometimes you get invaded by just NPC invaders, and it also increases the chance that you get invaded by other people, like other actual people.
I also believe it's just a flat percentage of damage and HP up on every enemy.
If it was, I don't think it carried over into this game, because the test run through that I did and this run through, I noticed almost no difference. Although I did get invaded once, and I don't know if that's just something new to Scholar of the First Sin, or just because I was in the Champion of the Covenants. Covenant of the Champions, whatever. You know what I mean.
We know.
Yeah, so that's the first video. It was kind of boring. The next part's actually kind of interesting.